Hello guys, and welcome back to the JYD podcast. I'm joined again with guest Tom Epton. He's been on a few times before. We're going to have a little chat about what we've been up to. We're both training abroad at the moment. He's here with me in Font-Romeau, but Tom's based himself in Andorra for the last few months. We're going to go over the recent results that have happened, what we think. Some other ones, there's a small triathlon that happened, but a very big name that was racing that, so we're going to dive into that because I think they were hoping that that would go under the radar, but we have eyes and ears everywhere and we've managed to track that down. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the enhanced games, which if you haven't seen it, it's a new thing where basically anything goes in terms of what you can take into your body, drugs, everything, and they're trying to break every single world record. And the first world record has been broken in that, so stay tuned and we'll go into that at the end. But first of all, Tom, how are you getting on, mate?
I'm good. I'm a bit tired, after today. Today, did a good threshold swim this morning with you, and then a decent ride.
Yeah, he dragged me round in for a swim, which, I'm more game for a day's worth of training, but like a brutal swim session isn't normally like first on my...
8 o'clock in the morning as well.
Yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning, but I think he was swimming really well. So he did 2 times 12 100s, hitting, what would you say, over the course of both sets? 71s at altitude?
Yes, well, every rep was in the range 68 to 71.
68 to 71s off 120 at 1,850 metres above sea level. I was in a wetsuit, trying to get through it with putting myself in as little box as I could possibly do. And then went out on the bike and hit a good session. Tom's been using ChatGPT as his new coach, so he's like got all kinds of new things that he's dabbling with, like talk reps and everything. Like,
it's been going well though. Today, to do my first session, it was pretty good. It was like manageable but quite hard.
Yeah, to be honest, I say he's been using ChatGPT. We've been dabbling with it here, like using it for target paces and stuff for altitude training for conversion paces.
Yeah, and how good we'd be at sea level as well.
Yeah, and to know how good we are, just to big ourselves up. How good we'd be at sea level? Would we be crushing it? And it seems like so accurate, doesn't it? Though it's like scarily accurate.
It's nice. I think sometimes it's a bit too generous,
Yeah, I think it probably is a bit on the generous side, but
that's fine.
I'll take everything I can get.
Yeah.
So, Challenge Championship then, what did you think of that? Did you watch it?
I watched a bit of it. I like watching the Challenge Champs because it's got Belinda commentating. And she's actually nice to have a commentator that knows who the athletes are.
Yeah, she's so much better than the other ones. Like I watched a bit of a short course race that was on Yokohama, and I flipping paid to subscribe to that.
You paid for World Triathlon?
Yeah, you can't get it any other way, can you? Like you have. I think that's the only way.
I just don't watch it.
Yeah, I know I'm too much of a frother. I paid to watch it, and it's like I feel like I'm in a relationship, like you said, when we're talking about something else, a domestic abuse, where like I keep complaining because it's so bad, but then I keep paying and coming back for more. Yeah. It's like I never learn. Like I never learned that it's crap racing, crap commentary, and I still keep coming back. And then I'll still moan after every race that it was crap, but then I'll still watch the next one.
What happened at the World Series? Did you
yeah, basically it was...
Matt Hauser won the men's?
Matt Hauser won the men's, and...
Beher?
That's the one, yeah. She won the women's, but I didn't actually watch the women's because I started off with the men's and I found it so boring that I just couldn't face watching another one.
It's a tough watch, isn't it?
It's a very tough watch. Yeah. And I fast-forwarded it through the bike. Basically, they get out of the water. They're all roughly together. It comes together on the bike. They spend 50 minutes rolling around in a pack where no one attacks.
Still going through and off, though.
You're still going through and off.
Still all pulling turns.
Pulling turns for no reason whatsoever because there's absolutely zero to gain because everyone's in the same group.
Yeah.
But I guess they're pretty bored, so they just want to get it over and done with. So they ride through and off. Then it comes down to a run. Like Lance Armstrong said, a swim, blow dry and a run. And then Matt Hauser was just the strongest on the run, and it was like just watching. I could have just saved an hour and a half and watched a 10k running race, and it would have been.
Need to watch 10k race. You just last 3k.
I mean, what I find strange is like the way the races go. I know we're going to talk about the Challenge Championship. I guess we might as well talk about this now, and then we'll go on to that afterwards. But like the strange thing is, you watch it, and it's like meant to be a swim, bike, and run, but it tests the swim a little bit. Doesn't really test the bike at all.
The swim's like.
But they're all around the same billy, so it doesn't
legit,
really matter, though, does it?
Yeah,
the swim's hard.
They're all really
good, so it doesn't really make that much difference. Then the bike, they just roll round, and then it comes down to a 10k race. So
there was a break though in Yokohama, wasn't there?
No, there's one guy who got like 10 seconds.
Mark DeVay.
Yeah, but it was doomed. It was doomed because it was like you're so fucked by the time you get like a bit of a gap that it's absolutely pointless. But
fair play to Mark DeVay for rolling the dice though.
Yeah,
at least he did something.
Yeah, at least he did something. Like with 5 minutes to go, when you're like already bored of it.
Yeah, you got to go You got to go from like 30k out.
But the thing is, you might as well just watch a 10k running race. You're going to watch better runners, and it's going to save you an hour and a half of suffering through a swim and a bike with bad commentary.
It's on BBC, so it's free.
Yeah. I mean, like, to be honest, I'd rather watch the European 10 km road race champs.
And then you get Steve Cram, and he's good.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, to be honest, I don't know how many more of these short course races I'll watch. I probably will watch them all. Like
Super League?
Super League, love it, absolutely love it. That is like,
but they got good commentators.
Good commentary.
Will McCloy's good.
Yeah,
you know? And then
no, definitely. So Super League, absolutely recommend it.
There's a lot of middle distance this weekend.
There was, yeah. So back to the Challenge Championship. You liked it because you thought Belinda was decent.
Yeah, the course in Samarin is a bit flat. It's so flat, isn't it?
And the water is flipping freezing. I've done that race, and they shortened it because the water was cold. And last year it was brutal, so I can't imagine how bad that must have felt this year.
Do you know I raced there once in 2022, and it was a non-wetsuit swim in that river. It was in August. Yeah,
it must have been a heat wave or something.
Yeah, 34 degrees. When is it ever 34 degrees in Slovakia?
God.
But yeah, who was on the podium in Challenge Champs in the women?
So we had Hannah de Vet, who won, and I actually watched this. It went back and forwards between the two, and that Daisy Davis had a bit of a gap. Then
she's been good this year, hasn't she? Daisy Davis.
I've not really. That's the first time I've actually came across her.
She did Challenge Gran Canaria as well.
Oh, did she?
Had a good result there.
Where did she finish there? Was it on the podium?
I don't know if she won. She
oh,
was
really?
Definitely on the podium,
right.
though.
Yeah. She looked solid. To be
She's
honest.
really young though.
Is she?
Yeah.
I think we'll see her a lot more because I watched this and she was like, she did have a decent lead. Then she kind of got caught by that Hannah de Vet. Then she took it out hard. Then she got caught again, and it was really close. It was only a minute between them in the end. So really, really solid racing. The men's race. Did you see that much of that?
Yeah, I watched a bit of that.
So Christian Hogenhaug basically got out with the main group. There was one guy, Hans Butters, who must be an amazing swimmer because he gapped Varga, gapped Skuman, and everyone in the swim had about 15 seconds, bearing in mind it's only a 750 metre swim. So
yeah, who is he?
Some absolutely shit hot swimmer, like basically gapped everyone. But Christian Hogenhaug on the bike absolutely drilled it.
Great course for him though. Pound flat, super aero, super aggressive position.
It took 2.5 minutes I saw out of Freddie Funk, and then Freddie shared his power data afterwards on Instagram, and he reckons he averaged 345 watts, but he lost 2.5 minutes on the bike.
Freddie Funk did crash.
Yeah, but he'd still lost like.
Yeah, but that's like 45 seconds from a crash.
To be honest, I don't even think it was that because like you could see what the time splits were before it happened. I think he might have already lost 2.5 minutes. Maybe he lost 3.5 by the end of the bike then, but he'd lost about 2.5 minutes.
So do you reckon Hogenhaug did a Lionel in St George and just?
Well, he absolutely sent it.
370. Or do you reckon he had a nice friendly camera bike?
If I'm honest, the camera bikes are close to him, but like I think like the chase group with Freddie and the other guy had it more. Because whenever the camera bikes were showing that, they were literally right in front of them.
Yeah.
So I actually think the chase group had it more than what he did.
I mean, he's a weapon, Christian Hogenhaug on the bike.
Yeah, well, like that was a hell of a ride, and I would be very interested to know what power he put out. He's either very aero, very powerful, or both. But he won it on the bike, ran pretty well afterwards. I think he ran a 1:14 or 1:15. I'll have a little look.
That's quite solid. He's
on a hard course.
In the past, he's done a bit of Robert Callan type performances.
Yeah, and this course is hard. Like I did this last
year. The run
year.
course is horrible,
it's like
isn't
off-road,
it? Really hard, yeah.
Flipping brutal. Yeah, he ran a 1:13 on there, which is like really solid.
Yeah.
But I was pleased to see Will Draper get fourth, just missed out on the podium.
Kieran in third as well.
Kieran in third, yeah. The Brits absolutely smashed it. Harry Palmer in sixth.
Oh, that's good from Harry.
So that was a really good race. The commentary makes that one though, doesn't it? If you had like the terrible commentary, it'd be absolutely.
Or that'd be unwatchable with Ironman commentary.
Yeah,
completely unwatchable.
It would be unwatchable, yeah. But
they wouldn't know who any of those people are. None of them are American.
No, that's true. But it was actually a really exciting finish because you basically had Hogenhaug, you had that Henry Rappo, Kieran Linders and Will Draper all almost coming together in the last K, and it was 4 seconds between the second to fourth place.
Yeah,
like it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it was the motorbike didn't just film the first place person and you not know or see any of the action like what happens in the Ironman one. It kept going back so you could see the battle. And Will Draper actually lost like 30 seconds, and then he started closing them in again, and then just missed out on like getting second or third by the end. He actually said to me that he reckons that Hans Butters is his secret to a fair race, because that Hans Butters gets out the swim so far ahead. The camera bikes stay with him, but then
so it brings everyone.
So it brings everyone else closer together. So then by that point, he can bridge up to the chase group before anyone from the chase group has really caught the leader, and then he's in the race instead. So that's his secret weapon. He says he's racing this weekend. Hans Butters is in the race, and he reckons that's his secret to a fair race. And
who is that guy then? He must be.
I've seen his name before. I saw him last year. He was up there. But
He must have been a swimmer before then.
He must be. He fades on the run, but he's a pretty solid cyclist, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, but swimmers are, because they're like,
because they're powerful. Big and powerful.
Max.
Yeah. 70.3 Paz day.
Brilliant. Great French.
Yeah. How would you say it?
Pay day.
Yeah. Yeah. That was an Ironman Pro Series race. But the problem with these Ironman Pro Series races, like we say, is the commentary, isn't it? And the adverts, the amount of adverts as well.
I watched a bit of this one as well, and it was hard. It was a tough
I had
watch.
to stop watching it in the end, and I went out.
It's a shame because it was such a great race, and also Ruben Zapuncta did something interesting on the bike as well.
Yeah, I did. I came back and I just fast forwarded it through bits, like 3 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 3 minutes here, and then I watched it on the run, and then we kind of went to a point where Christian Blumenfeld attacked, and I said when I was watching this, I said to the guys that I'm out here training with in Font-Romeau, there was a Simon Vian,
French guy,
who was third. And what I don't get, what's your point on this? So they're running along, he gets off the bike in basically second to sixth. We're all off the bike, aren't they? Yeah. Ruben Zapuncta's 2 minutes up the road,
and he actually had quite a good run. I thought he was going to fall apart massively, but the first half of his run was really decent.
He had a good run for himself, but it was obvious that Christian and all them were going to catch him with 2 minute lead, weren't they? There was no way he was going to hold off 2 minutes.
But I think if he was going to get a result of that race, that's how he had to do it.
Yeah, he had to do that. He had no choice. Yeah. But then I don't understand the tactics of Simon, who finished third, hitting the pace hard and just taking it out hard the whole way. If I was him, how I would have planned that would have been, right, I'm off the bike with Christian Blumenfeld. My only chance of beating Christian in a head-to-head like this is to slow it down, hope I last until the last K, 1500, and I have to take my chances in a sprint finish with him. That's the only way I'm going to beat him. He's got fatigue from an Ironman in his legs. He might not have a kick, but there is no way you setting a hard pace, letting Christian sit behind you, is ever going to work out well on a course like that,
Or just in general.
Just in general, yeah. Just in general. So every time that Simon got on the front, you could see he was putting the pace in and he was working hard. And I just kept thinking to myself, why are you doing that? Ruben is going to come back to you. The guys behind you're already ahead of. Let Christian set the pace. And if you end up going on the front, slow it down. Every time I'd have got on the front, I'd have slowed it down. 330, 335k pace. And it would have just been gradual slowdown.
I'd speeding it up for me.
Yeah, but whatever Christian's setting it as, if you get on the front, you want to slow it down. And I think tactically he played that shocking.
Yeah, it's that thing of I think
because Christian would have been worried about Pierre Lecour, who was catching up behind.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And he would have wanted to, and it might have still, it probably would have still turned out. It probably wouldn't
have to make Christian people. I don't think people put him under pressure.
I don't think they put him under pressure, no. And you just make it so you're surviving to the last 2k, 1500 meters if you can, because anything can kind of happen then. When it comes down to a last k, especially if you've both got something left in the tank.
Christian's good over a last K.
He probably is good after a last K, but he was the tactics that he put were never going to work. And then obviously you saw it. Yeah. The guy fatigued himself, and then Christian at some point put a big dig in, and then what does he win it by? 40 seconds in the end. And then the French guy ends up losing second place.
I don't think you're going to 1v1 Christian in that. Trying to. You don't have a higher threshold than him, probably, right?
No. It's never going. It was never going to outrun him. It was It was a terrible tactic because the leader was always going to come back, and he was already ahead of the other guys. And he was still a decent runner that he knew was probably going to beat the others. I think if he really wanted to beat Christian, he had to slow it down and just try and survive as far as he could into the race, and take his chances. But what do I know? I'm just an Ironman athlete.
Tell you what, though, I would have a go at that race.
Would you?
It looked good, didn't it? Do you not think the bike course
it looks all right.
good?
I just think when there's Pro Series races, they're just massive draft fests. I just see a huge pace line of 15 guys, and I'm just that puts me off.
Just make the group, mate.
Yeah, make the group. They just made it fair and actually
20 metre draft. 20 metre draft.
20 metre draft zone, no motors. It's then you'd actually get people that can bridge up from behind. But when you have massive pace lines and then you add a load of motorbikes in European roads, it's
I also think 20 metre draft would have helped Ruben quite a lot because he would have put a couple more minutes.
That would have massively helped him. Yeah, and also people get off the bike more fatigued then.
Well, I mean the French guy, I think he averaged 270 watts or something. I saw the power.
Ridiculous.
And then Ruben was 370.
Yeah, it was
and it's the same in Venice Gisolo the weekend before.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bogan, 370. 375 or something with actually a decent run off the bike, but you just don't really get rewarded for it.
Well, yeah, and then if you can sit in the 70 point, if you can sit in the front pack of a 70.3 and you're over 70 kilos and you need around 300 watts, then it's not really testing the bike, is it? Like, it's a bit pathetic, to be honest. Like,
most pros are doing 300 watts for 2 hours really
and,
comfortably.
And it shows you that that's why the run splits are coming down. It's not necessarily because the level's going up, it's because it's easy to stay in the pack. Like, if I'm doing 300 watts, my heart rate's 120 beats a minute. Like, I'm going to get off the bike and it's just a high zone 2 effort.
Mine's 120 beats per minute if I have 2 coffees.
Yeah, exactly. 2 coffees put more stress on your body than riding at 300 watts in the pace line, like, you know. And also, you think, like, when you're doing 300 watts in a race, how easy does it feel when you're tapered and you're actually got the adrenaline?
Yeah, when you feel good.
Yeah, like 300 watts feels easy anyway in training, but in a race, when you're tapered, you're fresh, you're in a pace line, you're like, know that you're on for a good result. It's like, Jesus, like the equivalent perceived effort-wise of probably 260, you know, in training.
It is. It's like doing a solid.
Yeah, I think it just shows that the whole thing needs to be changed, because there's no way you should be able to survive top tier 70.3 racing off around off 300 watts in a 70.3. That is not testing the bike. We're going more into ITU, where it's basically like a blow dry.
I think it's a shame, because it's the guys that are really, really strong on the bike just aren't getting rewarded for it.
Well, they're not, and that's surely the whole point of triathlon is, like, people say the swim's crucial, but surely I look at it and think every aspect of a triathlon should be as crucial as each other.
Wasn't it? Well, there was a series that I can't remember when it was, years ago. I've only seen it on Google.
Yeah.
But basically, they tried to make the triathlon so it was like equal portions.
Oh, like an hour run, hour swim.
Hour swim, hour bike, hour run. I reckon that'd be quite decent.
But it'd be fucking naff. Like, no one wants to do
like
any more swimming than what they have to. Like,
5k swim, and then a 40k bike.
Wouldn't bother turning up. Like, it sounds flipping terrible. Like, no one who does triathlon really likes to swim, do they?
I do. I think swimming's fun.
Like,
why did you?
A very minority of people like the swim. Like,
if you don't like the swim, go to Chattanooga.
I know. I went there last year and it was a duathlon, and now I'm thinking that after seeing Chattanooga 70.3, which turned into be just a bike and a run, is actually looking very appealing to me. 70.3 Chattanooga, full distance Chattanooga, because even if the swim isn't cancelled, it's downstream anyway. So it's like, even if they do the swim, whatever. Like,
Chris Packett will make the fun group.
A Chris Packett does the swim in an hour in an Ironman. So if you guys want to do a full distance, you want to get a really fast time, a packet of Doritos makes the swim in Chattanooga in 1 hour. So you could literally lay on your back in a wetsuit and do nothing, and you will swim an hour.
In an age group race, there's probably a good argument for that, isn't there? You know?
What?
Just not swimming.
Just not swimming.
Just floating down the river and then getting out.
I mean, I'd do it
like
in a pro race.
In a pro race, you get a bit screwed by like the group dynamics. But in an age group race, if you're like,
you'd be fresh. Yeah, your heart rate would be really low. Yeah, and to be honest, some people, age groupers, because their technique's so bad, they probably swim slower than the Doritos if they actually try and swim anyway. Like, they'd be better off just laying on their back, you know. Yeah. So 70.3 Chattanooga, all American clean sweep in the men's and women's. Flipping heck.
I have never heard of any of those women.
Have you not?
No. Never.
Grace Alexander.
Have you?
That name rings a bell.
Must be. Well, I don't really watch that many American 70.3s, but.
Wow, looking at.
No pictures. Oh, at least she's top 2 got a picture on the PTO.
I honestly can't really say too much about how this race panned out, because it wasn't on TV coverage.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
Didn't have to watch it. Great.
Yeah. The men's race, I kind of got an idea, just because, like, obviously I know some of the people that go against, when I race against them quite a bit, you end up following it on the tracker, don't you? I think if I was a female, I'd have more interest in watching the female races, because that's who I'm racing against.
I just never watch the races that aren't on TV.
Well, you never look on the track or anything. That's it.
Not really. I don't. Sometimes I have a look afterwards.
But I'm always interested when, like, Sam Long's racing.
Why?
Because I'm just intrigued to see how he does, how his bike compares to other people, what he runs off the bike. And
when there's not a swim, he does great.
Yeah, well, yeah, he does. I actually thought before this race, Ari Clow could win this.
Yeah, great.
Because I'd seen his numbers and the fact that he ran really fast.
If they had a run before the bike? So it was because it was a time trial start, wasn't it?
Yeah, the time trial start really does favour certain people. Like when I did Chattanooga in the full distance.
It's just your number, isn't it, really?
Well, when I did the full distance, you had to draw out of a hat. So you picked a number, and that was where you were going to start. So it wasn't done by, like, race number. So it was, like, literally you picked a number out, and that was what you got, which was fair enough, you know, it was a way of doing it. But the way the dynamics work, if someone, say like Sam Long, comes past me, then all of a sudden I can stay with him, can't I?
Yeah.
But let's say Sam Long's riding the fastest bike split out of everyone, and he's already caught me, then all of a sudden I get pulled along to a fast bike split. Whereas say someone else, let's pick someone who was in this race.
Matt McElroy.
Matt McElroy. Let's say he starts first. He's getting totally rolled, isn't he? Because
or he starts last and he's just off the back.
Yeah, or he starts last and he's off the back. But then the good thing is if you start, say if Sam Long did catch me, the good thing that he would think would be, well, I've already got 15 or 30 seconds on that guy.
So if they did a run bike run in this race instead of just a time trial start, do you think the results are different?
I think Sam Long still wins because he's that much better on the bike than all those guys, and I think he would have dropped them, especially on that course. I think Ari Cloud does better in a run bike run because he would have been in a group with Matt McElroy, he would have been with probably Jason West, and then it would have been he might have pushed them closer on the next run. He might not have. He might still got beaten, but he would have been closer, I feel like, because he's biking really well.
How much time did Jason West lose on the bike to Sam Long?
Jason West. Let's have a little look. So Sam Long biked at 157, which is solid because it is actually a longer bike ride than 90k. So he lost 6 minutes.
Cool.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think anyone stood a chance.
And then Ari Clow.
Ari Clow's been better this year, hasn't he?
So Ari Clow only lost 2 minutes to Sam Long. Ari Clow lost it on his run.
Oh, so maybe...
If Ari Clow runs the same as Sam Long, he finishes second place.
I think he overbiked a little bit there.
Maybe, but in Oceanside, I would have thought he would have probably overbiked because he was off the back on the swim and he had to try and bike hard to get himself into contention. But I think maybe he'll probably be kicking himself a bit because it wouldn't have been he wouldn't class that as a good race for what he could do. It's definitely not one of his better races. It's solid because he's got 5th place in a much stronger field than he has done in the past. But obviously the swim wasn't on. The performance wasn't as good as what he could have done. He would have hoped to have biked that and then run a 69. And if he'd have biked that and run a 69, he would have been closing Sam Long down and he'd only been a minute behind.
He probably has the best moustache in all of triathlon.
Yeah, he does have a good moustache. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
The other races that were on were just real small races. I don't think there's any point really going into these ones.
No, Lucy Charles won.
Lucy, we'll go on to
Ironman Lanzarote by 20 minutes, so that was competitive.
I had a fucking nightmare in Lanzarote once, 2014. Yeah,
2014.
2014. I
hadn't done my GCSEs then.
Yeah, well, this was my GCSE doing the race. It was a baptism of fire. I did it, and I feel like I was a bit ill leading into it. Sometimes when you're a bit ill, but you don't feel like you're really ill, but it's like you haven't got any appetite.
Yeah.
So I'm there the night before, and I'm trying to carbo load and stuff like that.
You
and
can't eat.
Laura's out there, and I could barely eat anything. And I'm trying to get in, and I had one flipping sweet potato, and Laura's like, "Is that all you're eating? You should be getting more down because you got the race tomorrow." I'm like, I feel really full. I can't eat anymore. So anyway, couldn't even eat anymore. I was trying to force myself. I was
it was 2014 though, so weren't you doing loads of fat adaptation training?
No,
fasted rides?
I was full carb, mate. I was fully carb.
You were early on that train.
I was all on the carbs. Yeah, I used to put 17 gels in an aero bottle, even from the start when I did Ironman. So I was
really?
I was always on it. I don't know why. I just was.
Well,
really.
you just feel better, don't you?
You just practice it and just felt better having 17 gels than 2 gels. 2 gels doesn't really get you through an Ironman. But anyway,
one sweet potato.
Yeah. So anyway, I got out the swim and that race is unique because it's a proper mass start race where age groupers, male, female, pros, everyone starts together.
That's great.
So they say go. And
is it still like that?
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think so. Probably, I reckon they probably split it. But basically,
embarrassing for the pro.
You would start
Lucy
off.
Charles gets out in front of everyone.
She got out of the transition ahead of Jan Frodeno the one year when they did it.
Really?
She started the bike ahead of Jan Frodeno, and Jan Frodeno had to bike back past her.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a great swimmer, but that's.
Well, I know it would happen to me if I was in the race, but she, but yeah, you did it, and the pros start with used to start with their feet in the water kind of thing, or up to your knees,
right?
And then the age groupers would start about 30-40 meters behind, and they would go.
Oh no, that's worse.
So yeah,
so they have all the momentum.
Yes, they have all the momentum. They absolutely tank it in there, and there's a line which is connects all the boys together. So if you swim right next to the line, you've got the shortest possible route. So you don't even have to sight. You just keep the line next to you. But obviously, everyone wants to be next to the line because then you don't have to bother sighting. And because I was feeling a bit rough, I had a bad swim, even by my standards. And I think I got out the water in about 60 or 70th place.
Oh, really? So you were right in that,
in
the age group race.
Absolutely fucking spanked. I had probably about 40 age groupers that swam over me. Honestly, it was dreadful swim. I don't even know what I did, but it would have been something embarrassing. But anyway, started on the bike and was like, fuck it, I've got nothing to lose. I'm just going to drill it. Managed to get myself up to 6th or 7th place in it. And then just got to the point where I just completely run out of energy. Like, I literally could barely turn the pedals. Ended up stopping on this like road that was like a desert road in the middle of nowhere. Sat there next to the bike, contemplating my options, thinking, God, I can't even get back to transition. I'm literally like broken, and like it was boiling hot. The guy that I was staying with was coming out to support on the course, so he was on like a motorbike.
Oh right, yeah.
So I end up swapping. I end up like riding the motorbike in like normal cycling shoes back, while he rode my bike back to transition. And that was my Ironman Lanzarote experience. I didn't even make it onto the run.
Never been back since?
Never been back.
Do you ever go
since.
training in Lanzarote?
No, it's dire for training.
I don't really get the appeal,
shocking.
I have to say.
Gran Canaria is way better. If anyone fancies training in the Canary Islands, Gran Canaria and Tenerife.
You love it there, don't you?
Gran Canaria is flipping awesome.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely amazing training. Scenery's nicer as well. The road, there's way more options.
Cyclists cycle quite a lot, don't they?
I would go to the cycling's phenomenal in Gran Canaria.
I've never been.
Oh, it's awesome. But I would go to Lanzarote, but that Ironman has the lowest prize money out of every single Ironman.
Looks hard course.
Hard course, $25,000 total prize pot divided between men and women. So it's $12,500 in total for the whole male field. $12,500 for the women.
You get like $3,000 if you win.
Get $3,000, I think, if you win. Then they're going to tax you as well before you get it. So you're going to get taxed 20 or 30%. So you're coming away with $2,400 at best, maybe even $2,100.
Yeah, but you can get an all-inclusive hotel in Lanzarote for quite cheap, can't you? So.
Yeah, but like then you've got to put up with like Brits abroad and like people having Stella for breakfast.
Yeah, I went. That's where I went on holiday. It was like that. But you're not the only triathlon big name to have a bad day in Lanzarote, are you? Because Sam Laidlaw had a shocker there last year.
Yeah.
He had was it last year or the year before?
I know what one you mean, yeah.
He had heat exhaustion,
liver problems.
Yeah, an absolute nightmare. He's recently had some health problems recently, hasn't he? But they don't actually seem to have affected his performance that much.
Yeah, so Tom's got eyes and ears everywhere. You cannot get away from this man.
It is true, and a friend of mine did a local race in France as part of a relay team because his girlfriend's from nearby there, and they were there doing this triathlon as part of a relay. And they needed a cyclist, right?
Yeah.
And so he does this bike ride, and I just post it on Strava, and like I'm just scrolling through one day, and he posts I see this ride, decent ride, 30k an hour average, 80k, 2,000 meters of climbing, 300 watts normalized, and he puts only lost 7 minutes to the world champ, and I'm thinking, the world champ in what? So I send him a text. I'm like, what do you mean the world champ?
You thought Remco turned up or someone, didn't you?
I thought Julian Alaphilippe was there,
yeah,
putting in big attacks. Turns out it was Sam Laidlaw doing a local middle distance in the triathlon d'Argelès-sur-Mer.
So was this weekend?
This was last weekend, yeah.
Which is
the weekend just gone.
All right. So he was meant to race Ironman Lanzarote.
Right. Was he on the start list there?
Yeah. So he didn't race Lanzarote. He still needs to do an Ironman to validate for like whatever it is, Nice. So he's got to finish one. But then the weird thing what I don't understand is supposedly there's like maybe there is, maybe there isn't, loads of like health problems, illness and stuff. But then you do a race like that, have an absolute blinder, run 1:10, didn't you say, including transition off the bike, and you said it was a legit run because you know someone that did the run as well.
So apparently the run was legit, but it was a 1:10 plus transition. So even if it was 20k,
so it was a 69 minute 70.3.
Yeah, probably.
Run, wasn't it? Like, if you take out transition.
And the fact that he was doing it completely on his own. And also, it was a hilly... back calculating the power that Andy would have had to have done in order to keep up with Sam would have been 340 watts. Normalized.
340 watts normalised.
For 2 hours.
And then run a 69-minute half marathon.
Best part of 2 hours.
Unpushed.
2 hours 40.
For no money as well.
For no money, unpushed.
Unpushed, yeah. What I don't understand is, what I think's a bit strange is, like, there's no post of it, there was no nothing, and I have my theories, and like, this is purely me speculating that I don't really think there's been any injury problems or really any illness. If there was, it was probably very minor, and the whole game plan has been to target Roth. And that creates a lovely little story because everyone loves someone that comes back from something negative, don't it? You know what I mean? Like, if you go through adversity, you fight for adversity, and you come and conquer a big race, it's a fantastic story, isn't it? You know, and that I can see leading into Roth. I think he's probably the favourite because doing that performance is obviously a very, very good performance. And I think targeting Roth has always been on the cards, and he's going to bring his A game to Roth. But the story doesn't sound as good if you say to people or the media, I was in great form, training's been fantastic, and then you go and win a race. Doesn't make a nice story.
He is in good form now.
He's in good form, yeah.
That is.
But you wouldn't think that if you looked at social media, would you? You would think it was like someone that was on their last doors and they might be stopping triathlon. And training's been real tough.
I haven't looked at his social media for a while.
I haven't really looked at his social media, no, but that's what I gather because I hear people talking and stuff like that.
I did hear he was ill. And he's better now. That is for sure. Yeah. He's definitely healthy.
He's definitely healthy.
Definitely healthy.
And keeping it under wraps. I guess he didn't really want people to spot that, but Tom will spot that if you're a big name and you do a race.
Got a photograph of the results page pinned up on a local wall after the race.
There's no sign of this online. Tom has the picture from the results. It was proper old school. They basically just print a results sheet out. They put it on the wall, and that is it. That is literally how low key it was. But obviously,
great performance from Sam.
And how much did he win by?
I think quite a long way, but I don't think it was that competitive.
No, it wouldn't have been competitive, but just out of interest.
He didn't actually. Do you know he didn't have the fastest run? There was one guy in a relay team that ran a 1:08.
Yeah, and you said that guy's like a real quick runner, and he wouldn't have had to do transition. Would he?
No, there was also a 1:14, which was the other run, but that was good. Someone ran a 1:12, but they had a horrible race. He won by 10 minutes.
Not as much as what you might think then.
No, I've never Googled
unless
it.
That's
the guy in second was part of Rat Pack Triathlon. You ever heard of that?
Never heard of that.
No, me neither.
So, but it seems like he's in good form. Anyway,
great shape. Expecting a big performance from him in Roth.
I think he's probably the favourite for Roth.
Yeah, definitely.
Because especially if his illness problems are gone and the fact that he's done really well there in the past. Hey guys, that's the end of this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to hear the rest of the episode or the conversation that me and Tom had, head over to patreon.com/the JYD and you can check it out. There's also loads of other podcasts that we've done on there and other things such as training sessions that get uploaded onto it, so you can go and have a look and check it out. But I hope you enjoyed this week's episode and let me know what your opinions are on it. And I'll see you next week. All right, guys, have a good weekend and catch you next week for another episode.